Hello all, welcome to our TeamLease flagship, the next webinar. This time we have come up with a very interesting topic in HR. This is the rise of infant attrition. As you all know, this is one of the event which has been most sought by the HR fraternity in social media. And we are proud to host along with three of the industry experts. And in order to have this conversation with us, we have three panelists with us, Ms. Koel, Singhal, the Senior Vice President HR and Admin of PTC India, Mr. Tarun Bayala, the Vice President HR with Office Space Solutions, Mr. Pradeep Hatgaonkar, the Country Head of HR with Hitachi Astemo. Now, before we get on to the discussion, we will get to know more about the panelists with us. Maybe Ms. Koel, you can actually give a more introduction about yourself so that people get to know more.
Sure. Thank you, Subbu. So, I have about 22 years. I have been into HR. Across the industry, I worked for 8 years in the software, then 14 years in a cement manufacturing company, world's third largest cement company, then a very short stint with the auto ancillary. And now for last 3 years, I'm into power trading. HR and specifically the employee counseling part of HR and organization development are really, really close to my heart. So that's about me.
Thank you, Koel. I think the versatility that you possess, which is IT, cement manufacturing, auto ancillary, and power, I'm sure it is going to give a rich experience to all of us with all your contributions. Thank you, Koel. Yeah, Mr. Pradeep.
Hello. Thank you, Subbu, for calling me here. I'm going to look for wonderful and nice interaction with the fellow panelists. And thank you for, again, calling here. Myself, Pradeep Hatgaonkar. I am Country Head HR for Hitachi Astemo. This is an automotive component manufacturer organization. I am having overall 30 plus years of experience, starting from Asian Paints, then Onida, then Usha, then Sandhar, and now Hitachi Astemo. We have around 14 locations and 2 offices in India. 8,000 plus employees are working across the country. So let's see how the things progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pradeep. Your rich experience is going to help us with a lot of insights. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Tarun.
Thank you so much, Subbu, and thank you, TeamLease, for having me as one of the panelists for this amazing topic of discussion on infant attrition. But before we start on the topic, I would give a little, background about myself. Approximately around 19 to 20 years of experience I have across different industries. Started with real estate, where I was part of Cushman and Wakefield for good 5 years. And then moved on to hospitality and had a good 9-year stint in hospitality, wherein I was part of the team for opening up at least 4 to 5 five-star properties in India and international. Then COVID hit, and I was back to the real estate, but a part of real estate, which is called design and build. So was part of Space Matrix, and then now with Office for last 1 year now. So the whole stint has been with the service industry, and I think it has been a journey which is absolutely wonderful, and has given me so much of learning in last 19-20 years that I'm sure manufacturing has their own challenges, other industries have their own challenges, but service industry again, because we are front facing with regards to facing the clients, it poses their own challenges. Hence, I would love to share, on the topic that we have in discussion today. Looking forward to having this wonderful conversation with my fellow panelists.
Thank you, Tarun. Just to give a quick introduction, my name is Subburathinam. Please call me Subbu. Be comfortable. I'm going to be the moderator for this particular session, and wonderful to have all three of you. Okay, now without a delay, let's actually get on to the discussion part. See, in every organization, visualize this scenario. We have the TA team, the talent acquisition team sitting, and then, oh yeah, how many positions are available, open positions available, how much we have fulfilled. And one fine day, oh yeah, okay, fine, I have actually completed so many positions. Now let me breathe. Then comes the business saying that, okay, fine, what you have actually recruited and people have left. All of a sudden, more than 20% people have left. So this is something, another shock that comes to the TA team. Okay, fine, what's actually happened? What went wrong? So we all track attrition very closely, year on year, month on month, what kind of attrition, and it varies from industry to industry. But the one silent part which has actually been growing, because we are also into this providing employment opportunities for about lot of youth, and this is our 22nd year. We have provided almost 3 lakh, and we are seeing a substantial growth with our own data. So which the people who come and join the organization, and they're leaving the organization in less than 3 months. This figure was almost about 3 to 4%, almost about a decade back. Now it has touched almost hovering between 12 to 15% plus. So now all these fancy words which has come in as the infant attrition. Now, this is something that we are seeing, witnessing it. But yeah, maybe Tarun, you were actually speaking about the service industry and from COVID. I actually want to pick up this question with you. How significant is this infant attrition in your industry, Tarun?
So, talking about hospitality or talking about service industry, this impact is absolutely, it's a bigger impact that, service industry is facing with regards to infant attrition, wherein, people are spending just 6 months or 7 months within the organization and leaving the organization. Maybe, they are not clear at the time of hiring, or joining an organization, what exactly they are wanting, to do with their journey. But with regards to the impact it has to the organization, it is it is a more consequential impact with regards to financial, operational, and the cultural effects. From financial perspective, again, you will have a very high rehiring cost for the person who's going to leave. Then there'll be loss of productivity for sure, because again, you're hiring a person, you're training the person, you're giving him induction, there's a buddy program happening, but again the person leaves within 6 months. Again, you'll have to go through the entire process again. So I think from a financial perspective, it's a huge loss to any organization. Service industry is facing that particular challenge right now. From an operational perspective, again, there's a gap which comes in, with regards to, a position is not filled, I have to go back, find a replacement, which again takes 2 to 3 months, to fill up that position again. So, that there's a gap there, from that perspective. And again, the team morale goes down because, you don't have ample people to do a task, what actually is, they are supposed to do. What is happening is that in our industry specific, where there is a lot of operational roles, and it is a front facing, client facing roles, any role, any impact with regards to the attrition, it has a very, very direct impact. And a client gets comfortable with one person dealing on day-to-day basis. What happens, you get a new face, and it becomes challenging for the new person to at least adjust within the organization. So I think that is one of the cultural impact which has happened in the organization, which indirectly impacts with regards to our customer satisfaction scores as well. So from that perspective, I think this impact is actually hitting our industry very badly. And the concerning part is that this attrition of infant is growing at least 2 to 3% on year basis. Hence, it is a very, very worrying factor for us. And what all measures we should take to control this. There is no hard and fast rule that, okay, you do these 3 pointers and it'll stop or it'll reduce. But it's always a hit and trial method, which we are which we keep on doing. Obviously, I'll share it in my further interaction that what we have been doing and how successful it has been with us as an organization.
Thank you, Tarun. I think the pain is evident. I can actually see the way how you narrated it. You actually bucketed in 3 categories: financial perspective, operations perspective, and then the cultural perspective. I can actually resonate this with my own example. Today, for example, even if I want to leave my car for service, I actually look for the same person who actually comes and fills the form. If every time the person changes, I myself is not comfortable, which means the face of the organization itself is getting changed. I think you actually rightly said in terms of the perspective of, okay, how this infant attrition is actually a major challenge in terms of the service industry. Yeah. So now when I move from service industry to manufacturing, maybe I'll take some use from Pradeep, because comfortably among all the sectors, whether it is actually the services sector or telecom, financial or consumer. And then when we actually look manufacturing, it's always significantly stands out. Because in manufacturing, the normal attrition itself is actually kind of lesser. Let's listen from Pradeep. Whether is he also facing infant attrition? Yeah, Pradeep.
Yeah, thank you, Subbu. Our organization, if I speak about the company where I am working, we are not that much facing this infant attrition because this is a new term. We do have a proper attrition analysis system mechanism in place. So the countermeasures, necessary countermeasures are being taken. But I know there are different categories of employees because any manufacturing organizations, we used to hire like contract or short-term period gig employees. So in that scenario, it is definitely severely we face. The people work for 2 months, 3 months, and then suddenly changes. So because of this, definitely the manufacturing lines arranging the new people, giving him training, definitely it impacts so much, but not for indirect category of employees, but the direct category of employees, those who are working on the lines, definitely we face this kind of problem in the shop floor.
Okay, so yeah, I think you also touched upon a key point where in a shop floor, this is slightly you are actually finding a pattern, but at least with the other side, it is actually much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very interesting point because even in some of the conversation that I had with some of the services sectors, the people in the front line are the one who are actually most vulnerable into this infant attrition. Okay. Now, while from services and manufacturing part, we'll also now go to the person who also has the manufacturing and now into the power trading part. Ms. Koel, from your experience perspective, how do you look at this infant attrition? Are you also witnessing a similar kind of a thing, growth or a degrowth? Maybe your views.
Thank you, Subbu. First, I would like to share my experience from my current industry, which is in power trading. So, PTC, first of all, because of the brand pull, we are the market leaders in electricity trading in India. So, we are not really facing any infant attrition. Talking specifically about the workforce can be divided into two categories. One, those who are purely into the power trading business, which contributes 80% of the bottom line, and they are mostly the on-roll employees. And the second category, we are also into various consultancy, electricity consultancy projects, which are spread across pan India, and they are hired through TeamLease only. So they're the second category who are basically the frontliners. So in either of them, we are not facing this infant attrition. I strongly feel it is attributed to for the on-roll employees, it is attributed to the strong brand pull, the pride associated with working with PTC, Power Trading Corporation. And to the contractual employees, it is attributed to the hiring strategies that we are really going out, reaching out to the remote project locations and hiring, employing the localites there. So, which is a reason why they feel, connected. And talking about the manufacturing, where I have previously worked in cement sector, in auto sector, not really have faced because the people used to be hired from campus, and we had very specific idea of not really hiring the top rankers or going to not so tier A colleges for shop floor activities. However, going to tier 1 colleges for the corporate roles like strategy, finance. So we really chose the campus specific to the role, so that helped.
No, superb, Koel. In fact, for a moment, okay, this is actually Tarun has the highest, Pradeep has the moderate, and looks like okay, you have the lowest. So the because it actually varies from industry to industry, and that is why we were actually trying to understand okay how it is actually pertaining to your part. So which means it's very encouraging to see that okay you have a lowest of the infant attrition. While you touched upon some of the strategies that you have deployed, Koel. Anyhow, I have a very detailed question and session coming lining up. Maybe I'll take more inputs there. Before we get on to that questioning that particular strategy mode, maybe Tarun, I would request you to just kind of dissect. Okay, what are the reasons actually contributing when you have the maximum high number of infant attrition? What do you think are all the reasons? What are all the reasons? From your experience, Tarun?
I think I'll categorize this into two buckets. One, the infant attrition of the age group between 22 to 26. And what I've realized, Subbu, this is through my experience, the people whom we hire from a tier one city will have a high probability of not surviving within an organization versus hiring a person from a tier two or a tier three city, as Koel just pointed out in her talk a couple of minutes back. Uh, Again, that all boils back that the availability of resources for people in tier one cities versus tier two and tier three cities. That's there's a huge gap there. And again, I personally come from a tier two city, from a city of Amritsar. And, the moment I stepped into Delhi, I knew that I have to make something for myself. Hence, ready to take on the challenges, was very much there. And that's what is lacking in the young workforce these days. Now, moving on to the age bracket of 28 and above, or 29 or 30 and above, there are a couple of reasons, why people do not stick for more than 6-7 months within an organization. And one obviously is the mismatch in the expectations to versus what he was hired for and versus actually what an organization is able to deliver or put it on the table to that person. Second would be, poor onboarding with regards to, you are not able to share the vision of an organization to the new hires, and hence there is a complete fall on the expectations from the perspective of the employee that was joined you. Third, which I emphasize a lot, is a workplace culture. I personally feel that you can teach a person what he or she needs to do, but if he is not culturally fit, would not survive for longer within an organization. And that again specific to service industry, because again service industry is something wherein a culture is deep driven into an organization. And if you have a good culture where there is low work-life balance, where there is expectation with regards to growth within the organization, a person will survive a lot. Again, to the second, the next would be, the limited growth opportunities within an organization, that, okay, I'm hired for this role. I don't see any scope of growing within an organization. I can have a organic growth, but what about inorganic growth within the organization? And again, last but not the least would be the ineffectiveness of the management, which leads to the reason for the infant attrition or person leaving, earlier within the first 6 months. So I would always put this into two buckets. And for us in the service industry, this infant attrition is more within a bucket of age group of 22 to 28 versus 30 plus. Again, because 30 plus comes with some kind of an experience, some kind of working within another organization. So we have a better understanding of those people. But the freshers, fresh out of college, some are exploring, some don't have any baggages to carry on, so they're not clear about it. That's where this growth is from 3 to 4% on a year-on-year basis. And we because we are into operations, wherein we need young talent straight pass out from the college, and we give them a growth path. But again, somebody works for 6 months, wants to go for higher education, doesn't specify during the time of interview results too. So these are a couple of factors which which actually lead to a lot of infant attrition within our industry.
No, I think all the points that you gave are like food for thoughts very clearly, Tarun. I think you also highlighted the kind of age group bracket which is actually having this kind of a challenge. Now, on that question, I have a sub question. I think this could be a contrast question to both you and Koel. When in a service industry, when you have more opportunities, is it fair to say that okay, they are getting more opportunities? Is it also one of the reason for them for the infant attrition? Because they think that okay, fine, nothing in 2 months' time, I'm not actually okay with this. I will go to the other job, or maybe I'm getting a job so easily. Is this one of the because this contrast question is to Koel in terms of okay, fine, how their people look this kind of opportunity. I'll come back to Koel, but Tarun, your views on this particular point, Tarun?
Yes, one of the reason, but not as significant a reason as it comes out to. But I would say 20% could be a reason, I get a better opportunity, 2 to 3 or 4,000 rupees per month, more I'm getting in another company, people will jump in. But that is just 20% of the entire workforce.
Okay.
Others, again, I am again specifying, kids who are coming from tier 1 cities have a very strong backing with regards from their parents. Absolutely. You tell them to work for 5 more minutes extra after 6 p.m. They will next day, you can be ready for a resignation on your table from them.
No, these are all reality. Yeah, we
This
all
is
of us will
Absolutely.
acknowledge. I can see
Absolutely.
acknowledgement coming from Koel and Pradeep as well.
yes, correct, correct.
Yeah. So the contrasting question to Koel in terms of fine, do you think that okay is one of the reason is okay people who are now in say let's say power or maybe in manufacturing, uh, they are they not getting more exposure? Are they not getting an opportunity outside? Is it one of the reason for them to stay, or is it like the other benefits that they enjoy within the organization? Koel, maybe your views.
So I would say it is a combination of the opportunity or exposure within the organization, which you said, also continuous communication. Why? Because any that hand holding in the initial period is very, very critical. Any problem they are facing within the organization, if they find somebody, their HR, or I heard somebody saying buddy, so the in the buddy program, or even their reporting manager, anybody they can easily straight away go up to and get a clarity. So building that transparency and communication culture has been the devising strategy in creating that barrier that people don't go out. The youngsters, they would have their share of problems. They would have a lot of energy and budding ideas. So how do we channelize those energy within so that they don't go outside and they can get that creativity canvas within the organization is important.
Okay, great. Thank you, Koel. Thank you. Maybe on the same part, taking you from again, Tarun said the age bracket of 20 to 26. Maybe Pradeep, your views in terms of the manufacturing industry, and specifically, are you also witnessing a similar kind of a age group, and that's what actually gets deployed in the shop floor?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Not only
Yes,
not
Pradeep.
only shop floor, not only shop floor, the freshers like trainees and those who are joining in the age group of 22 to 28 are significantly exposing more attrition. They are very eager to change frequent job because they don't have any liability. Maturity is also very less, and they want to like sustain and get a result as faster as possible. So
Hmm.
that's what we call it Gen Z. Gen Zs are really very dynamic people, and they definitely look for a better opportunities always. If anything is not meeting their as per their expectations, definitely they will look for a better opportunity. So that is higher. Shop floor has a different set of problems. Like short-term employees, they have different set of issues. Maybe residential facility, the commuting facility till the company, or maybe the working atmosphere in the organization, any fumes, or maybe the things are not suitable. So those issues are different. And the workers, the employees who are working in direct category, the white collar job, those issues are different. But definitely this age group is really,
Kind of a
they are
concern.
facing, yeah,
So,
concern.
so again, on this particular point, Pradeep, when this particular age group, are they not able to study the job profile that was given to them? Do you think there is a mismatch between that profile that was given and then when they
Yes.
actually come in? Huh.
Yes, yes, that is very, very important. While preparing the proper JD, and the hiring team should focus what kind of requirement they have.
Hmm.
They are the channel. They are the channel from where they have to source a good candidate to the person where actually the requirement is.
Hmm.
And if the suitability or if the JDs is not clear, the concerned person may not be the suitable for the actual requirement. So if it is a misfit, definitely the chances of leaving in early period within 6 months, that is infant attrition, is very, very high. So because the skill set which he is having, the skill set, whatever is required, if that is not matching the candidate or whoever the person who is there, he is not happy to work continue because he will try to look for some better opportunity. Or maybe sometimes the talent acquisition team makes the false promises, fake promises. No, no, because they have a tremendous pressure. They are under tremendous pressure. So their job is just to fulfill that requirement. In case that is to be done, they may go to any extent and make some false promises. And when the candidate joins, at that time the things he doesn't find as per the promises, definitely that will be a disappointment to him. And resilience is very less nowadays in the candidates. I can see they are very, they don't like adjust themselves. If it is, there is no suitable situation, they want the results very quickly. So resilience is, I think it is very less in these candidates, this age group candidates.
So resiliency and their expectations are also is like, okay, not they expect more
They
than what
expect
is
more.
actually.
They expect more.
And at times the recruitment part, because of to actually get the candidates lined up, sometimes this is actually goes as a kind of overcommitment as well.
That's
So,
correct.
okay.
And opportunities are also there in
Huh.
our set of industry. Nowadays, automobiles are growing very fast. Ample opportunities are there. If you are not there, there is somebody else who is ready to give higher than what you are paying.
No, very because usually in somebody who's working in a manufacturing company will always hooked on to that particular organization for a long, and that's something that we have seen. But in the recent past, maybe everybody has exposure. The whole world is within the mobile phone. They can actually access to know, okay, find similar kind of a profile, where exactly it exists, and why not me actually attempt, or my friend is actually working there, why not actually go there? And they start comparing each and every line item. So I can actually resonate with the statement that you made, Pradeep, specifically with respect to the resiliency part.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, maybe taking cue from here, uh, and since the service industry has got maximum or maybe the high number of infant attrition, Tarun, like how we actually discuss about, okay, the important role what a recruiter has to play during this onboarding, so that, or maybe not onboarding, in fact, during the recruitment stage for them to actually get the right candidate. What role do you think that more than HR, how a business has to play to avoid this infant attrition? Are they giving the right set of expectations? Are they giving this because as a HR, I know certain things I can actually understand and then deploy. But from the business perspective, things are not communicated and the knowledge transfer of what has to be done is not communicated to the TA team. Do you think there is they also play a role, Tarun?
I think what Pradeep just touched upon with regards to a lot of hiring pressures on the talent acquisition team, and I think uh, and to fulfill their targets, they end up making false promises, and I see at least one or two cases in a quarter which comes up that, oh, TA team, this person told me this, but I am not getting this. The reality is absolutely different. But I think at that point in time, again, the recruitment is not only the responsibility of the talent acquisition team. Herein, the business plays a very, very important role, because TA team is not on the only one who is gonna go and finalize a person and get that person on board. Business has more, I would say the split is around 70 to 30%, where 70% is on the business side, wherein they have to understand whether the person will survive longer within the organization or not, and 30% from a TA perspective. But again, from a business perspective, coming specifically to the question, Subbu, I think the role clarity is something which is very, very important, and uh, should be given, the clear download should be given to the candidate you are interviewing, right? There should be clear expectation which needs to be set, with regards to the person who is coming for a specific role, and more importantly, aligning those goals with the business objectives. If you are able to connect these three dots together, I'm sure that some bit of the problem of this attrition will definitely be taken care of. Then comes as Koel pointed out, the engagement of the leadership, wherein, open door policy or accessibility to leadership, which is very, very important. It should not be that, you are a manager and say, somebody in your team always have to, block a calendar and then only can come and meet you. You need to have, you need to be accessible. You need to be there to solve a smallest of issue, of, which a person might get stuck. And there are a number of instances wherein people do not go and ask their managers because a smallest of a problem, because they think the manager will say, "Isko itna bhi nahi pata hai." And I'm telling you, that's a fact. That's a fact. That fear with regards to what impression I will give on the manager asking such a stupid question, it turns to this. And hence, I think it becomes issue, the responsibility of the leader, that he is giving so much of comfort to the team that they can come and ask for a smallest of the questions also, even if he has asked that question 10 times before. I'm telling you, you'll be able to solve that problem. And for this, coaching of managers is very, very important. If you're not able to coach your managers properly with regards to how to deal with the team, rather than becoming a manager, become a leader, you'll be able to solve the problem. Third, very important is the integration within the team. You should not have small teams within a team. That's absolutely a deal breaker. A person who is not able to fit in one group will go into second group, will jump to third group, and then there will be problems within one of the team, and which will lead to attrition. Which again leads to a point called work environment. Do we have a supportive work environment or supportive culture, or do we have flexible policies with regards to the organization? And accountability of retention. It is not HR's job.
Correct.
Accountability of retention is the joint job of HR and business. And here where the HRBP, the HR business partner roles comes into play, wherein they have to collaborate with the business to formulate the policies and strategies which are gonna help the humans working within the organization. If you take care of these 5-6 steps, I'm telling you, this attrition will come down. It's easier said than done. It's not a cakewalk, I'm telling you, but if there is a collaboration between business and HR is taken as a partner rather than just a support function, you'll be able to solve problems.
Things will be taken care. Super points, Tarun. In fact, from business, in simple terms, business has a role to play in avoiding this, and HR is actually a kind of a facilitating team which actually identifies, sort out execution. In fact, I can actually say it's like an execution arm. In fact, you touched upon an important point, work environment, Tarun. One of the manufacturing company, they actually want to get the assembly line people. So what they did, they took a video of the assembly, which is the shop floor, and they made it as a kind of a visualized thing for somebody who is getting onto a first time manufacturing factory environment. And when I asked why, they said no, to avoid the attrition the first time, because people, when they come and people who are not used to a manufacturing environment, in the first 15 days they actually they get a shock of their life. Oh, this is how it is there, this is what I have to stand in. So I felt that okay, that was a brilliant point made by that organization, and it's in a remote location. They made that as a video and made it flashed into all the rural locations, and by which they were able to communicate, okay, this is the place where you are going to work, this is the work that you are actually going to do, this is how you will be uniformed, this is how you will wear all your safety kits. So what they did the expectation setting. So I can actually correlate with, while you spoke about the service industry, but then I also spoke, I could able to recollect with one of the senior level conversation that I had, and I thought, okay, I'll share it here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tarun. Now, maybe again, picking up the point from here in the how the business has a role to play on to this, Tarun, maybe I would like to pose this question to Koel. So when business is actually playing into this role, do you think that organization goals, everything is actually correlated to this, and it's taken care when some of the businesses actually is getting involved, Koel? Because I find in your industry, as per you, the infant attrition is the lowest, which means things are actually taken care. Maybe we would learn some kind of an experience from your experience that you possess, Koel.
So yes, business and HR has to go hand on hand to track the attrition, because if there is attrition, then obviously it is not only HR is getting impacted, it is business which is getting impacted, which means that HR also needs to understand the challenges, the nuances, the KPIs, the expectations of business. And at the same time, business also has to contribute by number one, providing the right JD. Number two, probing the right kind of technical questions while hiring the person, so that the actual aspiration of the person and the requirements, expectations from the job marry each other, to provide ample rewarding opportunities, even for small work, if they can be rewarded.
Okay, so Tarun, you spoke about how business is actually into a planning stage itself. Has to be a business is integral part of this particular infant attrition as a concept. Maybe your views in terms of while this is actually the right thing to do, what do you think is the cost of infant attrition? Again, it is definitely, we all know that it is going to have an impact to the business part, but what do you think is the cost of attrition? Because there are so many people who get integrated into this, starting from A to Z of a person's journey, employee's journey. Maybe your views on that, Tarun.
So I think you can't put it in figures because it's very dynamic in nature. But again, with regards to the loss, financial loss, operational loss, when I started,
Yeah.
the first question, the financial loss and operational loss gonna have a huge impact on the overall cost that our organization will have from an infant attrition perspective. Uh, because if one TA team is investing time to find out the talent, find out the resumes, and then interviewing them whether they're going to fit it or not, fit in the organization or not, aligning their skill sets with regards to the job description that has been given to them, then the business loss of the business person who would come and interview those people. And then third, which is once the person comes on board, re-onboarding of the whole process, going through, doing that buddy program, then doing those check-ins, 30, 60, 90 days check-ins. I think this cost uh, is huge, is huge. I can't put it in numbers, but I think more than the financial loss, it is the time lost while doing this whole process, which indirectly leads to the loss in the business, which indirectly leads the loss into impacts the culture of the organization. So I think I would just put it again into these three buckets.
Thank you, Tarun. I think maybe from service industry perspective, you actually narrated. Maybe Pradeep, before
Yes.
I actually get on to my last question, maybe on your understanding of the cost of attrition, because in a manufacturing segment, more than a service industry, when people who have
Definitely.
actually been identified, so on, so on,
Definitely.
in a manufacturing, they actually go through certain kind of a process.
Correct.
The time that
Correct.
so many people actually spend on one individual is very high. Maybe your views on that,
Yes.
Pradeep.
Yes, yes, absolutely. See, the cost is enormous, right? Rather, in the time, if you calculate in money, that is very different. But the candidate whoever is employee, he is joining, he has to go through a certain set of training process on the job. And then only that fellow is getting employed or arranged on that line. So we call it a dozo training session. So there is a dozo training session that is regular classes are regularly being going on that station. But in case such trained people keep on coming and leaving, means it will be kind of a training department, or that's just like a training institute. So that cost we cannot calculate. That is very high. Apart from this, rather calculating the in terms of money, overall cultural loss to the organization, rightly Tarun said, the people in the outside world, they spread the things through mouth. So particular organization, no, this organization is not good. So if people coming and going, the infant attrition is high, that organization's overall culture is getting affected. That cost is beyond comparison.
No,
And there are
great.
few organizations which actually become a training ground
Yeah.
for other organizations, and in fact, the training is so good for in that organization, but there's a problem when they actually come on the shop floor, and there's a huge gap there. It becomes a training ground for other organizations, and the
Correct, correct,
organizations these days are very smart. They would know, oh, pick up the person who's worked 6 months in that
correct,
organization.
correct,
You will
correct.
not have to spend that time in training that person.
Correct, correct. So the basic reason for that is mainly the frontline managers. Those are very, very important. They and a pivotal role they have to play. Their coaching, their like instead of manager, they should be leaders. That kind of thinking should be there in their mind so that this problem can be avoided. Because people generally leave not organization. The 90% people leave to their managers.
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree.
No, I think that's an important point, because when if there is a ready-made resource that is available, and if I can actually take it, then the organization looks for a shortcut to actually get that done. But what they fail to understand is maybe the person would have been trained under a different and work environment, different cultural environment. But the person, when they actually step in, if they don't take care in the right way, this person also again tend to move out. because they are not actually making it as a kind of a training platform or a platform for the to nurture the talent over there. Yeah, that's an important point. And coming to my last question, again onto this topic, we spoke a lot. I think during the conversation we have come up with some innovative ideas. For example, why at times we actually go to the tier 2 locations to get the talent for us. Now, is there anything else that we can actually look at as a kind of innovative strategies? I'm actually making it a kind of an open question to both of you. Maybe Pradeep, I think you can answer
Yes,
first.
yes.
Yeah.
From manufacturing point of view, we have a different it is a general strategy which we adopt in our organization. The cultural change will happen when you are connected to the employees by heart, and that heart touches to their families. So that family connect, unless you are there, any organization will have a good culture in case that organization has a family connect. And we strongly believe into that. We have a strong family connect in all the plants. We have a regular family visits. Employees are the families come. The employee they can see the employee who is working on the shop floor. We take a round through the factory, and then there is a small interaction with the plant head or the CEO, whoever is the topmost person is sitting over there, and the family can see that your member or your person, that employee is working on the shop floor. It's very good feeling we get. We keep a record. We have a very good record of this. Those people write in their record books, the comment books, that they are very happy, and that way they feel connected. It is not only giving money to any employee which affects the attrition. When you are connected with the family, this is one part. Another thing which we usually do it, we have a regular family well-being sessions are being planned online. So usually on Sundays, on different topics like how to fight cancer or BP or lifestyle diseases, those things are regularly being spread awareness. That shows that how we are taking care of their families. We want you to be safe. Apart just giving medical policy is not the important thing. We want you should be not hospitalized. You should be safe. What best practices you should adopt. And when children look at this, it automatically reflects on the shop.
I think
Thank
want
you.
to
Very,
add
very
on to
innovative.
what just
Yep.
Pradeep said with regards to Family Connect, and we are not doing it, but my wife organization, she's with pharmaceutical industry. They have one full dedicated day, which is called a family day, wherein all the family members are invited. There's a full day program. An organization ends up spending crores of rupees for that one day program. It is only to thank the families that they have been, supportive at the back end while their spouses are working
Correct.
for that organization. I think that really sends a beautiful message across the family that they are connected. And this takes me back to, I'm forgetting the name of the guy who started, these departmental stores, who was Ashok Biani, something like that. What he used to do, DMart, what he used to do, during the first day of the puja of the opening of the store, he used to call the wife.
Yes.
And he used to hand over the key of the store to the wife. You are responsible for it.
Correct.
The moment it is her responsibility, she knows that my husband has to really work hard to make sure that this becomes a success. So I think that plays a very, very important role in shaping up. Controlling.
That's very good. One more thing, a family day is very common in all the plants, and many of the organizations, they once in a year, the family day kind of activities they do. We have something different, like activities which we do. The CSR is mandatory for many organizations depending on the profits and all those things. So we connect CSR also as a tool to reach to the family. The employees who are working in our organizations. So suppose 2, 3, 4 persons, 10 persons are in a particular plant. They are belonging to some particular village, and there is a government school where these people were studied. In that school, the infrastructure is not that proper, or some facility is not there. So that is why the childrens of these employees, or maybe other people, they are not going to the government school, and they have to end up with paying higher money by admitting them in the childrens in the private schools. So I remember when they come to company that, sir, this is the thing and this is my school, and they need some like facility like benches or maybe computer lab or some stage where they can perform. And we utilize that money and we take them like a Bhumi Pujan kind of activity and handing over kind of activity. So it's a thanksgiving by the villagers, by the employees also, and employees when they go there, they feel proud that no, ये मेरी company ने बना के दिया है. This is my school or मेरी company, and that name is visible there. It's a tremendous impact to your company gives. That is why I'll say the attrition in our organization is very, very less. And that best practices which we are following, because of that, we have a different schemes also, like coffee with the CEO, coffee with the MD for senior guys, those who are coming, and the timely feedback, and that mechanism is established. Once you get the timely feedback, no, you can take the corrective actions immediately. So many activities we are doing to control the attrition.
Thank you, Pradeep. I think the way in which you narrated with how kind of an emotional bonding and get them the belongingness to the organization is like wonderful, because some of these things are not being dealt because we actually, because of the pressure in life, if that comes along with the business every day in, day out, we miss some of these key components, and then we will not know. That is one of the reasons for them to actually stay with us, even despite they're getting some other offer over there. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful point, Pradeep. But while we touched upon some of the elements, maybe on the same part, do you think a technology plays a role into this kind of a strategy? Anything that new that can be developed? Maybe Tarun, Pradeep, anything that you feel that, okay, this could be one of the strategies that can be help people to complete? Because I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking this as a question, as a last question, is that me as an individual with Gen Z population coming more, I'm so used to a lot of consumer applications in my mobile. I just click and then get what I want. The moment they get into an organization, what are their perspectives actually coming in over there? Do you think organization has to spend time over there? What are your recommendations?
So I think, Subbu, technology is gonna be a forefront runner for all this. And why I say, because the more, this age bracket of 20 to 28, people joining, they are absolutely more technologically advanced as I am. I don't know about others, but they're 100% one. My son, 15 years old, he's much more advanced than what I am right now. And technology has a very, very important role to play here. And couple of aspects where technology can come in is, one could be, from a perspective of engagement and support. So if you can have, those regular check-ins, which is driven by technology with regards to only a reminder perspective, not, a technology entering into and doing those kinds of things. But again, from a perspective of reminders, these is what happens is that everybody is so busy that, you don't get time to even see that, this needs to be done. This is a repetitive in work in nature and hence needs to be done. So where technology actually has to play a very, very important role. Rewards and recognitions, very important. Technology has to play a very, very big role here. Career development, when it comes to, growth path or, training and development or learning and development within an organization, I think technology has to play a, important part there, because if you have a training platform within an organization, which is taking care of the aspects with regards to starting from smaller aspects to bigger aspects, which is to do with soft skills as well as the on the job or the technical skills training. Technology has to play a very, very important role here. So I think from a technology perspective, these two important aspects are very, very important, where I think technology will have a huge role to play going forward.
Correct. I agree. Technology has to play a huge role nowadays in the AI era. So many AI tools are nowadays available where you can even predict the attrition in advance, like timely surveys and the insight surveys, timely questionnaires, getting feedback through bots. So it's very good tool, and technology has to play a big role, especially in the AI era. It's a big changes are there going on also, and in future there is going to be big expectation. Like e-learning is a very common in all the organizations.
Correct.
And unless you are capable, you are like learn and you're strong enough. Otherwise, dealing with Gen Zs are very difficult. Otherwise, if you are not strong, if you're not capable, you're not empowered, or you're not technically strong, these people, how you will deal with this?
I think gone are the days when, the classrooms used to work. You have to gamify everything. We have done, like, for our posh training also, we have tied up with an organization which is absolutely in a very gamified way, that they explain how the act is and what you need to do, what you don't need to do. And it comes at a very, very minimal cost. The equivalent to a cost which I would have given to one trainer to come and train, give that lecture on posh. But again, one aspect which I felt from a technology perspective is at the time of hiring is the assessment tools. Are we doing
Yes.
any for behavioral, checking of an aspect? What are the assessment tools that an organization is using? It could be a metal test, could be other tests which are available in the market. We as an organization do that. And, if you, no matter how star you are in your last organization, uh, if you do not clear that test, you will not hire you.
Correct.
And it goes from the lowest level till the senior level. So we have different, different tests for different levels. So, but you have to clear, you have to come up green with regards to that particular assessment.
Thank you, Tarun. Thank you, Pradeep. In fact, the way you actually summed up, I can actually sum up this entire 1 hour session as like engaged employee. See, and
That's right.
when somebody is actually applying for an interview and then you engage them appropriately, when somebody is getting onboarded, you engage them appropriately, you set the expectations appropriately, and you keep engaging with them with their family connect or maybe with the way their learning actually happens. I think this is the one word that I can actually take up as actually kind of a takeaway from your both of your insights. Thank you once again for joining us this session and making it actually a colorful and then giving us the insights and the experience what all you have actually gained to for all the audiences. Great having you both, Tarun and Pradeep. In fact, thanks to Koel as well. Due to emergency, she has actually left us almost 75th percentile she has left. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. And then we would love to host you all to another in a digital or a physical event in the later stage. Thank you, Tarun.
Definitely.
Thank you,
So
Pradeep.
Thank you